Welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management, a weekly conversation with area leaders about how to persevere during uncertain times. Now here's your host, Gary Shorman.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times. And our leadership story today talks about moving from something that is really has been going on for a long time and changing it into something even better. And our guest is Joanne Jennings, and had a chance earlier this week to meet up with her and the group as we're working with the Hays Arts Council. And the Hays Arts Council, and we'll talk about the history there, but they have a brand new project. And I want Joanne to tell us about that in just a little bit. But Joanne, good to have you on our program today.
Thank you, Gary, for inviting me. I'm excited about.
You know what? I'm excited about your whole project down there. And so tell me about the project and what you're going to be doing. And then we'll talk about some of the things that happened earlier this week.
Okay. Well, we started about 2 years ago talking about our buildings downtown. We have two buildings that happen not to be connected. They share a wall, but they're not connected. And then we have a third office space that we own. It's currently occupied by Mad Matter, a framing shop. And we've been talking about renovation of those spaces for, I think that the board in past boards, they've probably been talking about it maybe up to 25 years, trying to figure out how we could move forward, do some renovation. And each time the previous boards kind of got stuck for one reason or another and decided to not go forward. And our current board brought that topic up again about 2 years ago and decided, yep, we're going to do it. So we had some discussion about where we would have the Hays Arts Council. It's currently downtown in a rather historic building that was once the Hays Daily News. And then we also have a building that faces Main Street. And so we'd like to connect those spaces. That's our plan, to connect all three of those spaces and have 10,000 square feet of space for programming for kids, increase our programming for our students in the community. We do a lot of summer programming, increase our space for art shows that we have throughout the year, maybe have a space that the community can use. We've talked about it wouldn't be a really large space, but perhaps being able to host some small events there, maybe even a wedding. I mean, an art gallery could be a great place to have a wedding. So we have the architectural plans. We're ready to go as soon as we have raised the money to renovate all of that space, make it handicapped accessible. One of our problems was the two buildings are there's a 3-foot difference in elevation. Even though we share a wall, we had to figure out how to connect those spaces. And of course, that's the architect's job. And they did a beautiful job of getting us some plans. So,
well, the space is all okay space, but it's just disjointed right now.
right.
And being able to bring it into one space that flows a lot better with what's going on and be able to adapt to different things, that are happening in today's world makes a big, big difference. And, so many people in our community have learned to appreciate the history behind the Hays Arts Council. Even with disjointed buildings, you've seen the growth over the years. 1967, if I remember right, is when the Hays Arts Council was formed. The very first one in the state, if I recall. Is that right?
That's right. We're the very first art council in the state, and that's amazing.
And we're still the best, right? Are we still the best arts? Yeah.
And we might be. We've grown since then, and we have great leadership. Yeah, we're a great arts council.
And so when you walk through, even walking through earlier this week, you see just some just very interesting and beautiful art. And so there was
Yeah.
some, I was doing some things down there, and it's like, okay, Gary, don't break anything because this is really
Right.
nice. And so I know there's some exhibits and some shows coming up where they're going to show those things off and do that. But to have space that now is attractive for many in a different way, and being able to show art in even a better way, 10,000 feet, as a lot of square footage to be able to show
Right.
some amazing artwork that takes place. So with that said, you have a whole board of directors, but then you also have this group that is going out and doing fundraising. I know if one thing that was impressive is that your group that did the fundraising, it was a 100% participation in raising the initial funds, the seed funds to get this project started.
Right, right. We have originally, and well, of course it's ongoing, the Hayes Board, the Hayes Arts Council Board of 12 members, but we added a steering committee. And the steering committee's job is to raise the funds for our project. And it is a $3 million project to renovate, revitalize, bring everything up to code, and new bathrooms, everything that you need when you're doing a renovation project. So the amount was substantial. So we needed a board whose job it is to raise those funds. So that's about a 12-member board. And they came on board in January. Then February 1st, we launched what is called Inner Family campaign. And that is just to gauge what the commitment is with both of those boards. That would be about 24 people plus the staff. And that include volunteer staff. We only have 2 paid board members, one full-time and one part-time. And then we have volunteers. So we included them in that. It was a total of 29 people. And we spent 5 weeks pairing up and talking to each other about what our own personal commitment is financially to the project. And when we finished in March 5th, we gathered and had a celebration and announced that we had raised $345,000 between us, the 29 of us. So, and it was 100% participation. Every single person on the board, all of the staff, including the volunteer staff, all made a financial commitment over, well, they could make it any way they wished, but it's possible to make it over 3 years. So we even have a 16-year-old ex officio member of our board who doesn't have a voting right, but he's 16, and so he kind of represents the youth in our community. And I was kind of blown away with his commitment over 3 years, what he's willing to give. It was amazing. You know, sometimes when we were going through that, I could get emotional about the amount of commitment that we had individually. And it just showed that the overall support for what we do and where we're headed.
And that's where the event came in on this past Monday, where the Schmidt Foundation and I had a part through my position at the Schmidt Foundation to talk to a really excited group of people down there. I say they were there and having fun and looking at some cool artwork, but made the announcement of a $1 million contribution to help get this project going down the road. And there was some excitement there that it was just as we left that people are encouraged once again to go out and keep working. There's some funding that needs to happen yet before this can get started, but it's
Exactly.
exciting to see what can happen next. And I know those of you that may be listening out there saying, boy, how do I help? And I think that's one of the things that you want to ask. I know there's people out there who can talk to somebody and say, here's what we want to do. Show them the artwork, because the name of the project is it's the Heart of Hayes, and that's really what the
Right.
Art Council is. It's that downtown heart of what we do, whether it be through the art walks, or other things like that that make that such a cool program. And from the Schmidt Foundation standpoint, Pat Schmidt was early on one of the supporters and was involved with, I think it would be Mariana Beach and Ann Jeter were all
Right.
involved in helping say keep the art council going and moving forward. And this is just the next step. So you and your team, you now have additional money. You need about $600,000 left to make this happen.
We
What
do.
what are your next steps, Joanne?
Before I address that, Gary, I want to say that after we did our Inner Family campaign and we raised 345,000, we then had from March 5th until basically yesterday, we have been doing we've been meeting individually with people in our community that are business leaders who are been philanthropists in the past, people that we know support the arts. And so those have been one-on-one individual meetings with people. And we have raised an additional 368,000, I think. Our total right now is 705,000. And then last night we announced the Schmidt Foundation gift of $1 million. So we are over the halfway mark in 7 months, which is just amazing that we have gotten here this fast. So yeah.
Well, it's fun to see that. And part of the meeting last night was to talk about what the next steps are when you talk
Right.
about doing that. You guys have several places where people can go and look at this project.
Right.
So talk about those and where you go to actually take a look at what is going to happen. And because we can describe it here a little bit, but for those that have been down there, they kind of know the buildings involved. But that's a pretty cool website that people can go to and learn about this.
Yes, absolutely. It's www.hayesartscouncil.org. Go to that website, and I think Brenda Mader runs that website, and it is fabulous. There are videos. There's a walkthrough of our entire. The architect designed a walkthrough of the building as it will be when it's completed, so you can see it virtually, and that's really cool. There's just about anything that you could imagine wanting to know about the Hayes Arts Council is on there, but there are also places on there that it's a very simple click to donate. So there are options, a lot of different options and ways to make a pledge. You can make a one-time pledge, or you can make a pledge over 3 years. We have a number of people that are deciding to just make a monthly pledge, and that's done through the Heartland Foundation. But that, when you click on it, it'll take you to the Heartland Foundation. That's specific to the Hayes Arts Council. So
there's
it's
something
really
magic though about art.
Easy, yeah.
There's something magic about art that may make you want to push that button.
Yeah.
Because if you're around and you walk and you see the creativeness of people, not only in our community, but a lot of them from the Kansas area in our region, and you look at that and you're going, how can we do more of this? Pushing that button gets us closer to being able to do more of this because art makes people happy.
It does. And I think art is also that great equalizer. Everyone can participate in art in some way. And one of the people I was talking to this morning mentioned that she does counseling for children, on one-on-one counseling for them. And she said she oftentimes sends them to our art workshops and classes in the summer because she knows it's a safe space for them. They will be, they'll feel included and I don't know, they'll feel protected there. It's just a great place for anyone who, from any background or any age.
Yeah, and we talk about how sometimes everybody in our world today gets separated. So you can go in and you can say, "Boy, I like this," or "I like that," or "I don't like this," and
Mhm.
everybody has their own opinion, but nobody is upset about that.
Right.
They just enjoy being there and sharing that. So one of the early on in the mission statements through the Art Council is art improves the quality of life. And I think you want to come back and just take a little bit, dive into that, and then come back and let people know once again how they can participate in raising the funds needed to get this whole thing started. So, Joanne, hang on with me, okay? We're going to
Okay.
take a quick break. Our
Okay.
program is brought to you by Worth Wealth Management. We'll be back in just a moment.
Since 1776, the United States of America continues to stand tall. It's been tested before, many times. Through grit and the ability to move forward, we create better tomorrows. We help our clients live their best lives to and through retirement. We make it easier. Thank you, Kansas. Worth Wealth Management, enhancing lives and strengthening families.
Welcome back to Forward Ever, leading in challenging times. And this Forward Ever project talks about how we go from where the Arts Council and their building is today to being able to hook together 3 different units or buildings at different levels and elevations and put them together into one beautiful new building to celebrate not only Hayes, but our community. And it's through their Heart of Hayes project that is going on right now. Joanne Jennings is one of the people heading that up. I can't say she's the only one because there's a whole group of people that are heading up this project. So you might have somebody knock on your door or call you on the phone and say, "Hey, we need some help with this." But there's also ways to go and find out more about that. And one was the webpage that we talked about, hayesartscouncil.org, and then go to Heart of Hayes there, and it'll show you the tours and all that. There's also a Facebook page that you can go to. And that's really, if you're on Facebook at all, just go look Hayes Arts Council. That's a cool place to go visit.
That is right. We put up all of the, a lot of the things that the kids are doing in schools, the videos we have of like the famous figures. Those are up on video so you can watch, your child or grandparents can watch if they weren't able to be there. Facebook page is almost live with video and pictures, everything that's going on in the shows downtown in the space. So yeah, that's another great spot to be.
And that's the story that tells how the quality of life improves by having art and being able to do this project. So Joanne, one more time, kind of talk about where they go, how they find out how to participate. Somebody out there may want to have a family gift. They can give it over a year, 2 or 3. They can work together. And I think you have some things that somebody wants to have some naming opportunities for their family. They could do that as well. Talk about how they either connect with you or somebody, or where do they go?
Okay, that's a good bit of.
We don't want them lost out there wandering around downtown trying to say. I bet though Brenda would line them up if they walked into the Hayes Arts Council. Brenda would have them.
You can go just walk into the Hayes Arts Center downtown on 11th Street and pick up information. Sorry, something fell off my thing. Pick up information. We have a complete folder with pledge forms in it, the pledge forms that you would need. You can call me or contact me. I can give a website or my email. Is that okay?
Yeah, do your email. That's a good start.
Okay, that would be a great place. And then I can contact you individually if you'd like to visit with me about it. So my email would be P as in Patricia, J.A. Jennings@gmail.com. You can go to the website and on the website, it will tell you all the different avenues for giving. all the different ways you can pledge or give. Like Gary said, across 3 years, or it can be weekly. It can be any way that you want to set it up. There isn't any amount, as far as I'm concerned, that's too small. And obviously there would never be an amount too large. So we appreciate every gift of every size. I know there can be people that maybe have $5 and they are thinking about someplace they would like to give it in honor of the summer program for kids, and they appreciated their child getting to participate, and they want to make a donation of $5 or $10. You can do that. So look at it and find out what works for you, and we will appreciate every pledge and donation that we have, because we want to build a great art center going forward for the next 50 or 60 years, and improve what we have for everyone in the community. I just noticed, Gary, I noticed you had something you were talking to Hayes Med, and they talked about the quality of life, and that when they're recruiting physicians, that's one of the things they care about, is what amenities do they have in the community. And one of them in the past has been the Hayes Art Center. They're very appreciative when they're recruiting people to come into the community that we have that kind of first-class facility. So,
and first-class art that goes through there.
Yes,
Brenda
amazing
and her
art.
team down there, the group, you guys do a great job. So, Joanne, thanks for being with us here on the program, and we wish you luck in finishing up the
Yes.
revenue so we can get started. Once we get that in, can get started on that project and make that happen. And, you know, we, the Schmidt Foundation, are behind what you guys are doing, and we challenged others out there to be able to go and finish this up. So if you don't hear from somebody, you might be, of course, but if you don't, go down to the Art Center or take a look online and push one of those buttons, and
That's right.
you'll find some ways to donate.
Thank
Thanks so
you
much, Joanne.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you for the Schmidt Foundation. I appreciate it so much.
Well, we're excited to see the next step and the next part of that's what we talk about. Forward ever, Joanne.
I know. Thank you.
All right. Joanne Jennings is our guest today with the Hayes Arts Council and the Hayes Art Center, as they're working on their latest project. And it's been in the works for a long time to be able to connect the buildings and once again, make that a beautiful facility in downtown Hayes. Program's brought to you today by Worth Wealth Management. It's brought to you by Worth Wealth Management, where you can live with confidence. I'm Gary Shorman. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us for Forward Ever, Leading in Challenging Times, presented by Worth Wealth Management. Join us right here next week for another episode with host Gary Shorman. Until then, remember to move forward ever, backward never.